Hey everybody, welcome back to Parks with AP, and welcome back to what I like to call Virginia's Forgotten National Park. If you saw my previous video here, bear with me for a second as I do the same intro, but you'll see a beautiful view of the Massanutten Mountain here in the Shenandoah Valley ahead. In the background, this beautiful cemetery. For the scenic and tourism side, Shenandoah National Park here in this very same region kind of outshines this one. And then on the history side, you got Manassas, Yorktown, Petersburg, Appomattox, the Richmond battlefields, Chancellorsville Wilderness. There's a lot to compete with on the history side. But I am here at Cedar Creek and Belgrove Plantation. This is one of the tour stops if you're touring the Civil War battlefield. And if you saw my previous video at the Belgrove Plantation, soldiers were fighting in this cemetery. Yes, this cemetery did exist at the time of the battle. There is even a Revolutionary War veteran buried in this cemetery. Now, unfortunately, I do not know where that grave is, or else I would show you guys a picture of it. But you can see the beautiful artwork here. There was even a Union artillery line right in the middle of the cemetery, and Confederate troops came pushing right through, continuing the Union retreat. The plantation house that I did my first video at was about 1.5 miles straight ahead. Can't see it now because of the modern trees. But again, this is crazy to imagine all that going on at an existing cemetery at the time that was known as the Middletown Cemetery. In 1896, you can see here it was chartered as Mount Carmel Cemetery. Sorry if I'm misspeaking. Again, I gotta head back home to Maryland today, so I told myself one take for these videos. We're just gonna roll with it. The second reason why I'm here today, other than it being a tour stop here for the battlefield, is the first time I came here, I was really taken aback by something I noticed. Now, there were flags out at the time for all of the veterans buried in this cemetery, and a certain family, the Klein family here, I really took notice to. It stood out to me because I noticed Confederate and United States flags right in the same family plots. So I decided to come check it out. Now, unfortunately, the flags are gone, so the visual today is not as cool. But I'll throw up some photos. That was back in the fall time where I'm sure those flags get laid at, and I'll throw up some photos so you guys can see. But W. Strother Klein here was born in 1829, and he was a Confederate veteran. When the war started, he was in his early 30s, so that just kind of shows you. A lot of people are under the assumption that Civil War was fought between teenagers or boys. No, there were also a lot of men, especially in the South, that enlisted as well. Again, he was in his early 30s already when the war started. And you can see he went from 1829 to 1924. This man fought in the Civil War and made it to see 95 years old. But keep that 1924 in mind, because over here, another Klein family member, Roger A. Klein, fought in World War I. He was born in 1888 and passed away in 1956. Now, if you start doing the math here, Roger would have been born when W. Strother was 59. So I can't say for sure. I'm gonna go and say that W. Strother was Roger's grandfather. Now, he also could have been his father. You can certainly have kids as a male at age 59. Also could be an uncle, a great uncle. But for the sake of the story, I'm gonna go with grandfather. So just imagine what it was like. Again, he died in 1924. Well, history guys, history people know that World War I happened before 1924. 1914 to 1918, really. So that means that W. Strother Klein, a Confederate veteran who fought probably in these very fields in his hometown, if not definitely fought in his home state of Virginia, saw his grandson go off to war and fight in Europe for the United States. Now, on the surface, this could just be taken, okay, you know, nice story. Little history fact for the day. But man, if you just really think about it, what it must have been like for the Klein family, W. Strother Klein, take the Roger part out of it, just to be a Confederate veteran, a Civil War veteran, to live to 95, to see what war had become by the time World War I came around in 1914, that must have just been mind-blowing. And to have the added layer on top of it of your grandson going off to Europe to fight when you fought, you were fighting in your hometown, you were fighting for your home state. At this point, you're going off to a foreign land to fight for your country, for that same flag that W. Strother was fighting against out in these Civil War battlefields. That is something that I'm sure he had to battle mentally. Now, W. Strother Klein obviously could have been a welcome member back into U.S. society, could have been a patriotic guy. I don't know. I don't know the family history. I can only go off what I found here in the cemetery. But if you just take all that out of it, and again, just think about what his mindset would have been like, seeing his grandson go off to fight in Europe after experiencing war himself all those years before. It's just a story that I've loved telling people about ever since I discovered it here last fall. So I figured I'd finally make this video to see if it touched anyone else. And if any of you guys have instances of this in your family line and your family trees, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to learn about it. If you want to check out more history videos of me checking out national parks in the future, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great day.